Liam Carter thought he had it all figured out. Impress the right people, say the right things, keep up appearances. But when he bragged to his wealthy friends that he only dated white European women, he had no idea the beautiful black event planner walking through the door would hear every careless word. What started as public humiliation became something far more dangerous, a test of whether he'd choose his image or his heart. Ariel Brooks had been almost chosen by men like him before. Men who loved her in private, but hid her in public. She'd built walls to protect herself, and Liam would have to tear down every single one to prove this wasn't just another performance. But when a screenshot of his friend's group chat surfaces, calling her a bet, everything he's worked for hangs by a thread. Subscribe and comment below if you've ever had to prove your love was real, because this story is about to show you what it costs to choose someone when the whole world is watching. The rooftop glowed in the early evening light. Music drifted through the warm air, mixing with laughter and the gentle clink of champagne glasses. The city stretched out below, all glittering windows and distant traffic. But up here everything felt separate, special, like the kind of place where people came to be seen. Liam Carter stood near the edge of the space, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a glass he barely touched. Around him, his friends talked and laughed, their voices loud with the kind of confidence that came from never having to worry about money. Trent Mallory stood closest, gesturing wildly as he told some story about a yacht. The other guys nodded along, grinning. Liam smiled too, but inside he felt that familiar tightness in his chest, the one that showed up whenever he was around these people, his friends, guys he'd known since college, guys who made him feel like he had to prove something every time they got together. "So what about you, Carter?" Trent turned to him, eyebrows raised. "You seeing anyone these days?" The question landed heavier than it should have. Liam shrugged, trying to look casual. Nothing serious. Nothing serious or nothing worth mentioning. Another friend, Derek, leaned in with a smirk. Liam felt the attention shift, all eyes on him. This was the moment, the chance to say something that would make them nod and laugh and forget that his apartment was smaller than theirs, that his car was 3 years old, that he sometimes felt like he was playing catch-up in a race he'd never signed up for. "I only date white European women," he said, lifting his glass slightly. The words came out smooth, practiced, like he'd thought about saying them before. The guys erupted. Trent laughed so hard he nearly spilled his drink. Derek clapped him on the shoulder. Even the quieter one, Marcus, shook his head with an approving grin. "That's specific, man," Trent said, still laughing. "Very specific." "I know what I want," Liam said, and the words tasted wrong even as he said them. But the guys were nodding now, accepting him. He'd said the right thing. The conversation moved on. Someone mentioned a restaurant opening downtown. Someone else started talking about a trip to the Bahamas. Liam let the voices wash over him, that tight feeling in his chest slowly releasing. Then the music shifted. Someone near the entrance called out loud enough to cut through the noise. "Ladies and gentlemen, our event planner has arrived for final checks. Please give her space to work." Liam turned and stopped breathing. She walked through the crowd like she owned it. Not in the loud, flashy way Trent moved through rooms, but in something quieter, more certain. She wore a simple black dress that somehow made everyone else look overdressed. Her hair was pulled back, neat and professional, but a few curls had escaped to frame her face. She carried a tablet in one hand, her eyes scanning the space with the kind of focus that said she had work to do and wasn't interested in distractions. She was beautiful, the kind of beautiful that made you forget what you were saying mid-sentence. She was also black. Liam's stomach dropped. "That your European type, man?" Trent's voice cut through the moment, loud and teasing, too loud. Several people turned to look. The woman, the planner, glanced over. Just for a second. Her expression didn't change, but something in her eyes shifted, registered. She looked away and kept moving, checking something on her tablet. Liam wanted to disappear, or explain, or rewind the last 5 minutes and say something different. Anything different. "I'm gonna go say hi," he heard himself say. "Oh, this should be good," Derek muttered, but Liam was already moving. He caught up to her near the bar area, where she was adjusting a flower arrangement that looked perfect already. Up close she was even more striking. Warm brown skin, eyes the color of coffee, a small scar above her left eyebrow that made her face interesting instead of just pretty. "Hi," he said, too loud, too eager. "I'm Liam." She looked up from the flowers. Her expression was polite but distant, professional. "Ariel Brooks. I'm coordinating tonight's event." Her voice was smooth, controlled, the voice of someone who dealt with rich people all the time and knew how to handle them. "It looks amazing. You did a great job. Thank you. She moved to the next arrangement, her fingers gentle on the petals. If you'll excuse me, I need to finish my checks. Of course. Sorry, I just wanted to... He stopped. Wanted to what? Explained that he wasn't really like that. That he'd only said that stupid thing to impress people he didn't even like that much. She waited, one eyebrow slightly raised. Behind her, he could see a younger woman, mid-20s maybe, wearing a similar professional outfit, watching them with obvious curiosity. Nothing, Liam finished lamely. Enjoy your evening. I'm working, Ariel said, not unkindly, but thank you. She moved away, her assistant following. Liam stood there feeling like an idiot. Back at his spot, Trent was grinning. So? Get her number? She's working, Liam said. That's not a no. Liam opened his mouth to respond, but Trent had already turned to Marcus, his voice carrying across the space. He literally just said he only dates white Europeans. The words hit like a slap. Liam looked over and saw Ariel pause mid-step. She didn't turn around, but her shoulders went rigid, straight. The kind of straight that meant she'd heard. When she started moving again, something had changed. The ease in her walk was gone, replaced by something harder, more guarded. Liam felt sick. Ariel made it to the service corridor before she let herself stop. The narrow hallway was blessedly empty, just staff storage and a door to the kitchen. She leaned against the cool wall and closed her eyes. You okay? Nadia appeared beside her, concern written all over her young face. Fine. Ariel opened her eyes and straightened up. Just needed a second. I heard what that guy said. Nadia's voice was tight with anger. The European women thing, that was messed up. It's fine. It's not fine. And then he came over here trying to talk to you like... Nadia. Ariel's voice was gentle but firm. It's fine, I'm working. He's a guest. That's all this is. But it wasn't fine. It was the same old story dressed up in expensive clothes. Guys like that, guys with money and nice smiles, they looked at her and saw a challenge, something to prove they could get. They never saw her. She'd learned that lesson the hard way, 3 times to be exact. 3 men who'd said all the right things in private, but somehow never brought her around their friends, never posted pictures, never made it clear that she was theirs and they were proud of it. Almost chosen. That's what she was every time. Almost, but not quite. Let's finish up, she said, pushing off the wall. I want to be out of here in an hour. They returned to the main space. Ariel slipped her professional mask back on, the one that said nothing bothered her. Everything was under control. She checked the lighting schedule with the DJ, confirmed the champagne service with the catering manager, made small talk with the event coordinator who'd hired her, and tried very hard not to notice Liam Carter watching her from across the room. He approached again as she was packing up her tablet. The sun had set fully now, and the rooftop was lit with string lights that made everything look soft and romantic. A few guests were starting to leave. The party was winding down. Ariel. He said her name carefully, like he was testing it out. Can I talk to you for a minute? She looked at him. Really looked. He was handsome. She'd give him that. Tall, lean build, dark hair that fell just slightly too long, blue eyes that seemed genuinely troubled. He wore his expensive clothes well, but not like Trent and the others. There was something less polished about him, more real. But that didn't matter. She'd met plenty of real handsome men before. I'm just about finished, she said, her voice neutral. I know, He ran a hand through his hair, messing it up. That thing I said earlier, about only dating. It was stupid. I was just talking. You don't have to explain. Ariel zipped up her tablet case. You're entitled to your preferences. It's not a preference. I was trying to sound... He stopped, seeming to realize how that sentence ended. I'm sorry. That came out wrong. All of it came out wrong. Ariel studied him. He looked genuinely uncomfortable, which was something. Most guys doubled down or tried to laugh it off. Look, he said, his voice quieter now. Can I at least make up for it? Coffee sometime just to start over? She picked up her bag. Nadia was waiting by the elevator, pretending not to watch. Men who know what they want don't have to undo what they said, Ariel said, meeting his eyes. Have a good night, Liam. She walked away. She could feel him watching, but she didn't look back. In the elevator, Nadia let out a low whistle. Girl, that was ice cold. That was honest. He looked like you just broke his heart. He'll be fine, Ariel said, watching the numbers descend. Guys like that always are. But even as she said it, something nagged at her, the way he'd looked at her. Not like she was a challenge or a box to check, like she was someone he actually wanted to know. She pushed the thought away. She'd been fooled before, she wouldn't be fooled again. Back on the rooftop, Liam stood alone near the railing. Most of the guests had left. The staff was starting to pack up. Soon this whole perfect evening would be over, and he'd go home to his apartment and lie awake wondering why he'd said something so stupid. You just want to prove you can get her now. Trent appeared beside him, drink in hand, that knowing smirk on his face. No. Come on, man, I know that look. You want to win. Trent clapped him on the shoulder. And honestly, good luck. She looked like she'd rather eat glass than talk to you again. The other guys appeared, ready to head to the next spot. Some bar downtown that Marcus knew. They wanted Liam to come. I'm good, he said. Gonna head home. Because of her? Derek laughed. Dude, let it go. You shot your shot. It didn't land. But that wasn't it. It wasn't about winning or proving anything. Something about the way Ariel had looked at him, calm, certain, completely unimpressed, had cracked something open inside him. She'd seen right through him, through the expensive watch and the practiced smile and the trying too hard performance. And she'd walked away. I'm just tired, Liam said. I'll catch you guys later. They left, their voices fading as they headed to the elevator. Liam pulled out his phone and found the event coordinator, who was directing the cleanup crew. Hey, do you have contact info for Ariel Brooks, the planner? I wanted to send some feedback about tonight. The coordinator brightened. Oh, of course, she's amazing, isn't she? Give me 1 second. A minute later, Liam had an email address. He stared at it, thumb hovering over the screen. What was he doing? Trent was right. She'd made it clear she wasn't interested. But that look in her eyes when she'd heard what he said, that careful, guarded look, like she'd heard things like that before, like she'd built walls specifically for men like him. He wanted to prove those walls weren't necessary. Not with him. He opened his email and started typing. The next morning, Ariel sat at her desk in the small shared office space she rented with 3 other event planners. Nadia was across from her, clicking through photos from last night's event, selecting the best ones for their portfolio. That rooftop space was gorgeous, Nadia said. We should pitch them for more events. Ariel was only half listening, focused on reviewing invoices. Last night had gone well overall. The client was happy. The guests had been manageable. Everything had run smoothly, except for that one moment, that one comment, that one man. Her email pinged. She glanced at the screen and froze. From Liam Carter. Subject, thank you, plus an apology. She stared at it for a long moment. What is it? Nadia leaned over. Oh, he actually emailed you. Apparently. Are you going to read it? Ariel's finger hovered over the mouse. She should delete it. Move on. She had work to do. She clicked it open. Ariel, first, thank you for making last night's event incredible. Everything was perfect. Second, I owe you an apology. What I said to my friends was stupid, shallow, and completely untrue. I said it because I was trying to impress people I shouldn't care about impressing. That's not an excuse, it's just the truth. I know you said men who know what they want don't have to undo what they said. You're right, but I'm hoping you'll give me a chance to reset anyway. Coffee? No agenda. Just a conversation where I don't put my foot in my mouth. I promise to do better. Liam Ariel read it twice, then a third time. What's it say? Nadia asked, unable to contain her curiosity. He wants to get coffee. To reset. Nadia made a face. He's a rich party boy, Ari. Be careful. Guys like that collect women like trophies. I know. Do you? Ariel looked at the email again. It was well written, honest, self-aware in a way that most apologies weren't. But Nadia was right. She'd been here before. Different men, different circumstances, same result. Still, there was something in his email, something genuine. Maybe she was seeing what she wanted to see, or maybe he actually meant it. She hit reply. Liam, I can meet for coffee near my office. Thursday at 4 p.m. There's a cafe called Bloom on 3rd Street. Ariel. She hit send before she could second-guess it. Nadia groaned. You're really doing this? It's just coffee. That's what they all say. Ariel smiled despite herself. If he's terrible, I'll leave. Simple. And if he's not terrible, that was the question, wasn't it? If he wasn't terrible, if he was actually the person his email suggested he might be, if this time was different. Ariel turned back to her invoices. Then I guess we'll see. Thursday afternoon arrived faster than Liam expected. He'd spent 2 days alternating between excitement that she'd said yes and terror that he'd mess it up again. He'd changed his shirt 3 times before settling on something casual. No suit, no trying to look impressive, just himself. The cafe was small and bright, with plants hanging in the windows and mismatched chairs, the kind of place that felt lived in, and comfortable. Liam arrived 10 minutes early and claimed a table by the window. He ordered coffee he didn't drink and watched the door. At exactly 4 o'clock, Ariel walked in. She wore jeans and a cream-colored sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders this time. She looked different than she had at the event, softer, more relaxed. But those same careful eyes scanned the room before landing on him. Liam stood. "Thanks for coming." "Thanks for the coffee," she said, nodding at the cup waiting for her. She sat across from him, and for a moment they just looked at each other. "So," Liam said finally. "Reset, reset," Ariel agreed. He took a breath. This was it. The moment to either be honest or lose her completely. "I said that thing about European women because I was insecure," he started. "My friends, they all have more money than me, better connections. They make me feel like I have to compete just to keep up. So I said something that I thought would make me sound impressive, exclusive, like I had standards." Ariel listened, her hands wrapped around her coffee cup. "It was stupid," Liam continued. "And it's not even true. I don't have a type. I've dated all kinds of women, but in that moment I wanted to sound like someone I'm not. What you say when you're trying to impress someone is often what you think people value," Ariel said quietly. The words hit hard. Liam nodded slowly. "Yeah, I guess it is." She took a sip of her coffee, her eyes never leaving his face. "I've had this conversation before, Liam. Different versions of it. Men who say I'm amazing, that they're really into me, that this is different. But then I never meet their friends, or their family, or they introduce me as their friend instead of their girlfriend. They keep me separate." Her voice stayed calm, but he could hear the hurt underneath. "The history. I'm not interested in being someone's almost," she continued. "I'm not interested in being the woman a man dates to prove he's open-minded or adventurous or whatever. I want to be chosen, fully, proudly, without explanations or apologies." Liam felt something twist in his chest. "I don't want to be that guy." "Then don't be." They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, people walked by with shopping bags and strollers. Normal life continuing around them while they sat in this small cafe, trying to figure out if this thing between them was real or just another almost. "I meant what I said in the email," Liam said finally. "I want to do better. I want to know you, not to prove anything or win some bet. Just because when you walked into that rooftop I forgot how to think." A small smile tugged at Ariel's lips. "That's a very nice thing to say. It's the truth." She studied him for a long moment. Then she finished her coffee and stood. "If you reach out again," she said, picking up her bag, "let it be because of me. Not because you want to prove something to your friends or yourself. Because of me." She walked out, the door chiming softly behind her. Liam sat there watching her disappear down the street. His coffee had gone cold. The afternoon light was fading, but he was smiling. Because she hadn't said no, she'd said if, and that was enough to start with. Liam sat in his apartment that evening, staring at his phone. The video call connected and his mother's face filled the screen. Paige Carter looked exactly like she always did, perfectly put together even at home, her silver-streaked hair pulled back, reading glasses perched on her nose. "Hi, sweetie," she said, smiling. "I wasn't expecting to hear from you tonight. Everything okay?" "Yeah, Liam paused. How did he explain this? "I met someone." Paige's eyebrows rose. She set down whatever she'd been reading. "Did you now?" "At that rooftop event last week. She was the planner." And I said something really stupid in front of my friends before I even met her. She heard it. Now I'm trying to figure out how to prove I'm not the idiot I sounded like." His mother was quiet for a moment, her expression thoughtful. "What exactly did you say?" Liam told her. "All of it. The comment about European women, Trent's loud mouth, the coffee meeting, Ariel's walls." When he finished, his mother was watching him with that look, the one that said she was seeing right through him to the truth underneath. "So you're in trouble," she said. "Pretty much." "Good." Liam blinked. "Good? You said something foolish, trying to impress people who don't matter. Now you have to prove yourself to someone who does. That's called growing up, Liam." Paige leaned closer to the camera. "If this woman matters to you, really matters, then say something better. In front of people who matter." The words settled over him like a weight. "Say something better. In front of people." "I don't know if she'll give me another chance," he admitted. "Then make sure that if she does, you don't waste it." His mother smiled, softer now. "Tell me about her." So he did. He told her about Ariel's confidence, the way she'd handled the event with such ease, her directness, the hurt in her eyes when she talked about being someone's almost. By the time he finished, His mother was smiling in that knowing way that made him feel like a kid again. "She sounds wonderful," Paige said. "Don't mess this up." "I'm trying not to. Try harder." They talked for a few more minutes about nothing important, but when they hung up, Liam felt steadier. He opened his messages and started typing. "Hi, Ariel. I know you said to reach out because of you, not to prove anything. So here's the truth. I can't stop thinking about you. About how you carry yourself, how you see through everyone's nonsense, how you made that whole rooftop look like magic. I want to know more. If you're working on any events soon, I'd love to bring you coffee. No pressure. Just me wanting to see you again. Liam." He read it 3 times, then hit send before he could overthink it. The reply didn't come right away. He tried not to stare at his phone, tried to focus on the architectural drawings spread across his desk, tried to do anything but wait. His phone buzzed an hour later. "I'm scouting a venue tomorrow morning, Hotel Ballroom downtown. If you want to bring coffee, bring some for my assistant too. She takes oat milk." Ariel Liam grinned at the screen. The next morning, Ariel stood in the middle of an empty hotel ballroom, her tablet in hand, mentally arranging tables and lighting. Nadia was across the room, taking measurements of the stage area. "This space could work for the Hayes wedding," Ariel called out, "if we use the side entrance for the ceremony and flip the room for the reception." "The ceilings are gorgeous," Nadia agreed, looking up at the ornate molding. "Very romantic." Ariel made notes on her tablet. She was trying very hard not to think about the text she'd sent Liam last night, or the fact that she'd said yes when she'd promised herself she'd be careful. But there was something about him, something that felt different, or maybe she was just fooling herself again. "So," Nadia said, walking over, "Rich party boy is bringing us coffee this morning." He asked. I said yes. "You like him?" "I don't know him." "But you want to." Nadia grinned. "I can tell you get this look." "I don't have a look." "You totally have a look. It's the same look you had when you were deciding whether to start your own business, like you're standing at the edge of something scary but maybe worth it." Before Ariel could respond, her phone buzzed. "I'm in the lobby. Where should I go?" She gave him directions and tried to ignore the way her heart picked up speed. This was just coffee, just a guy bringing her coffee while she worked. It didn't mean anything. Then Liam walked through the ballroom doors and her heart did that stupid flutter thing again. He wore jeans and a dark blue shirt, casual and comfortable. His hair was slightly messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. He carried a tray with 3 coffees and a bag that smelled like fresh pastries. "Good morning," he said, and his smile was shy, genuine, nothing like the performance she'd seen at the rooftop party. "Morning." Ariel took the coffee he offered, noting that he'd somehow remembered she took it black. "This is Nadia, the assistant who takes oat milk," Liam said, handing Nadia her cup. "Nice to officially meet you." Nadia accepted the coffee with a surprised smile. "Okay, points for remembering. And I brought scones," Liam added, setting the bag on a nearby table. "I didn't know what kind you liked, so I got one of everything." Ariel felt something warm settle in her chest. Most guys would have just grabbed whatever was convenient. He'd actually thought about it. "Thank you," she said. "You didn't have to do all this." "I wanted to." They stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Nadia cleared her throat loudly. "I'm going to go measure the windows," she announced, grabbing her tape measure and retreating to the far side of the room. Liam laughed. "Was I interrupting?" "We're just scouting the space, seeing if it works for a wedding next spring." Ariel gestured around the ballroom. "What do you think?" He looked around and she watched his eyes take in the details. The high ceilings, the natural light from the tall windows, the way the space flowed. "It's beautiful, classical but not stuffy. You could do a lot with this." "That's what I was thinking." They walked slowly through the space, Ariel pointing out possibilities, Liam asking questions that showed he was actually listening. He noticed things, the acoustic quality, the sight lines, the way the light changed as clouds moved outside. It wasn't showy or trying to impress. It was just him, being present. "Can I ask you something?" Liam said after a while. "Sure." "How'd you get into event planning?" Ariel smiled. "I was terrible at my first job out of college, office management for a law firm. So much sitting still, so many rules. Then they asked me to plan the holiday party, and I realized I loved it. The logistics, the creativity, making people happy. So I quit and started my own business." "That's brave, or stupid," she laughed. "My mom thought I was crazy, but I couldn't keep doing something that made me miserable just because it was safe." "I get that," Liam said quietly. "I work at my dad's firm, architecture. It's good work, but sometimes I feel like I'm just following someone else's blueprint for my life." It was the most honest thing he'd said. Ariel looked at him, really looked, and saw something familiar, that feeling of trying to be what everyone expected while losing yourself in the process. "Why don't you do something else?" she asked. "Because it's what I'm supposed to do. My dad built that firm. My grandfather before him. I'm the only son. It's just—" He stopped, laughed at himself. "Sorry, that's heavier than bringing coffee requires." "It's okay." Ariel found herself moving closer without meaning to. I asked. Their eyes met, held. Something passed between them. Recognition, maybe, or just the start of understanding. Nadia's voice broke the moment. "Ari, what do you think about moving the ceremony arch to the center instead of the window side?" "Let me look," Ariel called back. She turned to Liam. "I should get back to work." "Right, of course." He stepped back, shoving his hands in his pockets. "Thanks for letting me crash your morning. Thanks for the coffee. And the scones." He smiled, started to leave, then turned back. "Ariel, I meant what I texted. I can't stop thinking about you." Before she could respond, he was gone, the ballroom doors swinging shut behind him. Nadia appeared at her elbow. "Girl, don't. He's into you. Like, really into you." "It's been 3 conversations. Sometimes 3 is enough to know." Nadia bumped her shoulder. "The question is, are you into him?" Ariel looked at the doors Liam had just walked through, thought about the way he'd listened when she talked. Really listened. The way he'd brought Nadia coffee too, not just her. The honesty in his voice when he'd talked about his dad's firm. "Maybe," she admitted. "Maybe I am." Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but she knew who it was. "My mom would love to meet you, no pressure. Just brunch if you want." Liam Ariel stared at the message. Meeting his mother. That was significant. That was the opposite of keeping her separate, unless it was just another performance, another way to seem different. She thought about Liam's face in the ballroom, the vulnerability when he'd talked about his life, the way he'd looked at her, not like a challenge or a prize, but like someone he genuinely wanted to know. "When?" "Ariel." The reply came fast. "Saturday, 11 a.m. I'll send you the address." Ariel looked at Nadia, who was watching with barely contained excitement. "I'm meeting his mother on Saturday," Ariel said, still not quite believing it. Nadia squealed. "This is happening. This is really happening." "It's just brunch. Men don't hide you from their mothers if they're playing," Nadia said firmly. "This is a good sign, Ari." Maybe it was. Or maybe Ariel was setting herself up for disappointment again, but something about the way Liam had looked at her in the ballroom, open, honest, maybe a little scared, made her want to try. Just one more time. Friday night, Liam stood outside a restaurant with Trent and a few other friends. They'd just finished dinner, and the guys were debating which bar to hit next. Liam was barely listening. He was too busy thinking about tomorrow, about Ariel meeting his mum, about all the ways it could go right or wrong. "You coming, Carter?" Derek asked. "Actually, I think I'm going to head home." Trent groaned. "Again? What's going on with you lately?" "Just tired." "Tired or thinking about that event planner?" Trent grinned, but there was something sharp in it. Testing. Liam hesitated. This was the moment. He could laugh it off, make a joke, keep Ariel separate from this part of his life. That's what he would have done before. But his mother's words echoed in his head. "Say something better, in front of people who matter." "Her name is Ariel," Liam said. "And yeah, I'm thinking about her." The guys exchanged looks. Derek smirked. Marcus raised his eyebrows. Trent's grin got wider. "So you switched to American now?" Trent said, loud enough for people walking by to hear. Something cold settled in Liam's stomach. It wasn't about that. "Come on, man. You literally said—" "I know what I said. It was stupid." Liam kept his voice level. "I'm seeing her tomorrow, meeting my mum." That got their attention. Meeting parents was serious. Everyone knew that. "Wow," Derek said. "Fast." "When you know, Liam said, even though he wasn't entirely sure he knew anything yet. He just knew he wanted to find out. Trent clapped him on the shoulder, but the gesture felt mocking. "Well, good luck with that, man. Hope it works out." They left for the bar. Liam stood on the sidewalk watching them go and felt something shift. These were his friends, people he'd known for years, but standing there, listening to them joke and tease, he realized he didn't actually like them very much. More importantly, he didn't want to be like them. He pulled out his phone and texted Ariel. "Still on for tomorrow? My mum's excited to meet you." The reply came a few minutes later. "Still on. I'm a little nervous." "Don't be. She's going to love you." "How do you know?" "Because I do." He sent it before he could second-guess it. Too honest. Too soon, too everything. But then, 3 dots appeared, and disappeared, and appeared again. See you tomorrow, Liam. He smiled at his phone like an idiot and headed home. Saturday morning, Ariel changed her outfit 4 times. Nothing felt right. Too casual made it seem like she didn't care. Too fancy made it seem like she was trying too hard. She finally settled on black pants and a soft pink blouse, nice but not overdone. "You look beautiful," Nadia said from her spot on Ariel's bed, watching the fashion show. "Stop stressing. I'm meeting his mother, Nadia. That's big." "I know, that's why it's good." Nadia stood up and straightened Ariel's collar. "He's introducing you to the most important woman in his life. That means something. Or it means nothing, and I'm reading into it. When did you become such a pessimist?" Ariel met her friend's eyes in the mirror. "When I got my heart broken 3 times by guys who said all the right things." Nadia's expression softened. "I know, but maybe Liam's different. Maybe this time is different. You won't know unless you try." Ariel nodded, took a breath, grabbed her purse. Liam's text had given her an address in a quiet neighborhood. Tree-lined streets, old brownstones, the kind of area where people knew their neighbors. His mother's place was a narrow townhouse with flower boxes in the windows and a bright red door. Liam was waiting on the steps. He stood when he saw her, and his smile was nervous, relieved, like he'd been worried she wouldn't show. "Hi," he said. "Hi. You look amazing. Thanks. You said casual, so you're perfect." He came down the steps and took her hand. Just that simple touch sent warmth through her. "My mom's inside. Fair warning. She's going to ask you a million questions. Good questions or investigating questions. Both, probably." He squeezed her hand. "But she's going to love you, I promise." He led her inside. The townhouse was beautiful. Warm wood floors, family photos on the walls, the smell of something delicious coming from the kitchen. Everything about it felt like a home, not just a house. "Mom," Liam called out. "We're here." Paige Carter appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She was elegant, put together in the way some women just naturally are, but her smile was genuine, reaching all the way to her eyes. "You must be Ariel," she said, coming forward with her hands extended. "I'm so happy to meet you. Thank you for having me, Mrs. Carter. Please call me Paige." She took Ariel's hands warmly. "And thank you for coming. Liam's been talking about you non-stop." "Mom? What?" "It's true." Paige smiled at Ariel, and there was something knowing in it. Something kind. "Come on, let's eat. I made frittata and fruit salad, nothing fancy." They moved to a small dining room with windows overlooking a garden. Paige had set the table beautifully. Simple white plates, fresh flowers in the center. It felt intimate, special. Over brunch, they talked about Ariel's work, her family back in Georgia, how she'd ended up in the city. Paige asked questions that showed she was really listening, building on answers, making connections. Liam watched them both, barely eating, just smiling. "So you started your own business right out of college?" Paige asked. "That's incredibly brave." "Or reckless," Ariel said with a laugh. "My mum thought I'd lost my mind. The best things usually require a little madness." Paige glanced at Liam. "I keep telling this one to take more risks, but he's stubborn." "I'm careful," Liam corrected. "You're afraid." Paige's voice was gentle but firm. "There's a difference." Ariel watched the exchange, saw the love underneath the honesty. This was what family looked like when it was healthy, when people could be real with each other. "Liam mentioned you both work in architecture," Ariel said, steering the conversation. "We do, though Liam's far more talented than he gives himself credit for." Paige looked at her son with obvious pride. "He designed the community center that opened last year, the one with all the natural light and open spaces." "That was you?" Ariel turned to Liam, surprised. "I saw pictures of that. It was beautiful." He shrugged, embarrassed. "It was a team project. It was your vision," Paige said firmly. Then to Ariel, "He doesn't like taking credit, always trying to make himself smaller." The words hit something deep in Ariel's chest. She understood that, the trying to make yourself smaller, trying to fit into spaces that weren't made for you. After brunch, Paige walked them to the door. She hugged Ariel and it felt real, warm. "Thank you for coming," Paige said. "I hope we'll see each other again soon." "I'd like that," Ariel said, and meant it. As Liam walked her to her car, Ariel felt lighter than she had in days, weeks maybe. "Your mum is wonderful," she said. "She liked you, I could tell." "How?" "She hugged you. She doesn't hug people she doesn't like." Liam stopped beside her car. "So, that went okay. Better than okay." Ariel looked up at him, this man who kept surprising her, Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for saying yes. He hesitated, then leaned down and kissed her forehead. Soft, quick. Text me when you get home? I will. She drove away, watching him in the rearview mirror, standing on his mother's steps, hands in his pockets, smiling. This felt real. It felt different. It felt like maybe, finally, she'd found someone who'd choose her fully. She just hoped she was right. Sunday afternoon, Ariel sat curled up on her couch with Nadia, a pot of tea between them and the kind of comfortable silence that came from years of friendship. Outside, rain tapped against the windows, making the apartment feel cozy and safe. So, Nadia said, breaking the quiet, tell me everything about yesterday. Ariel smiled into her mug. His mom was amazing, warm, funny, real. She asked good questions, made me feel welcome. And Liam? He barely said anything, just watched us talk like he was holding his breath. Nadia laughed. That's actually sweet. He was nervous. I think he was. Ariel set down her mug. Meeting his mother felt significant, like he was saying something without words. He was saying, you matter, Nadia said firmly. Men don't bring women home to meet Mom unless they're serious. Ariel wanted to believe that. She did believe it mostly, but there was still that small voice in the back of her mind, the one shaped by past disappointments, that whispered, be careful. Her phone buzzed. A text from Liam. My mom really liked you. She told me not to mess this up. Ariel grinned. And what did you say? That I'd try my best, which is all I can promise. She was typing a response when her phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't from Liam. It was a direct message on Instagram from someone she didn't know. A woman named Jessica with a private account. Hey girl, thought you should see this. Attached was a screenshot, a group chat. Ariel's stomach tightened as she opened it. The first message was from someone named Trent. Carter's really going for it with that event planner. Think he'll actually commit, or is this just the European comment backfiring? Another guy, Derek maybe, had responded with a laughing emoji. He's trying to prove he can pull her. Give it 2 weeks. Marcus had added, remember when he said he only dates white European women? Good times. More laughing emojis, more jokes. A whole conversation about her, about them, like she was a game, a bet, a way for Liam to save face. The room spun. Ariel stared at the screen, reading it again and again, hoping the words would somehow change. Ari? Nadia's voice came from far away. What is it? Ariel handed her the phone without speaking. Nadia read it, and her face went hard. Oh, hell no. This is exactly what I warned you about. He introduced me to his mother. Ariel's voice sounded strange, distant. Who does that if it's just a bet? Someone who wants to win, Nadia said, anger sharp in her voice. Someone who wants to prove he can get you. His mom seemed real, but his friends, they think you're a joke, Ari. Ariel stood up, pacing. Her hands were shaking, not with anger. She almost wished it was anger. Anger would be easier. This was something worse. This was the familiar ache of almost chosen, almost real, almost loved. I need to talk to him, she said. Right now. Tomorrow. I need... She stopped, pressed her hands to her face. I need to think. But thinking only made it worse. All night she lay awake, replaying every moment. The rooftop, the cafe, the ballroom, his mother's townhouse, looking for signs she'd missed, evidence that this was real or proof that it wasn't. By Monday morning, she still didn't have an answer. She texted him at noon. Can we talk? Later today? His response came immediately. Of course. When and where? There's a park near my office. Maple Grove. 5 p.m.? I'll be there. The afternoon dragged. Ariel tried to focus on work. A phone call with a potential client, updates to her website, reviewing vendor contracts, but her mind kept drifting to that screenshot, to Trent's words, to the question that sat like a stone in her chest. Was any of this real? At 4:30 she told Nadia she was leaving. You want me to come? Nadia asked. No, I need to do this alone. Be strong, Ari. Don't let him sweet-talk his way out of this. I won't. But as she walked to the park, she wasn't sure what she wanted. Part of her wanted him to have an explanation that made sense. Part of her wanted to be wrong about all of it. And part of her just wanted to protect her heart before it got broken again. The park was quiet on a Monday evening. A few joggers, some people walking dogs, mothers with strollers heading home. Ariel found a bench near the pond and sat down to wait. Liam arrived exactly at 5. She saw him before he saw her, walking quickly, his expression worried. When he spotted her, relief flashed across his face, followed immediately by concern. He sat down beside her, leaving space between them. "Hi." "Yeah, hi." They sat in silence for a moment. A duck paddled across the pond, oblivious to the tension. "Something's wrong," Liam said finally. "Tell me." Ariel pulled out her phone and opened the screenshot, handed it to him without a word. She watched his face as he read it, watched confusion turn to recognition, turn to anger. Not at her, at them, at his friends. "Ariel, am I a bet?" Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "Am I just you trying to prove something after what you said at the rooftop?" "No." The word was immediate, fierce. "No, God, no. Your friends think I am. My friends are idiots." Liam ran his hand through his hair, frustration written all over him. "I told Trent to stop with this stuff. I told him—" He stopped, took a breath. "This is exactly what you were afraid of. This is why you almost didn't give me a chance. I need to know if I'm a dare, Liam. I need to know if meeting your mother was real or just part of the performance." He turned to face her fully, his blue eyes intense. "My mother is the most important person in my life. I don't bring women to meet her. Ever. The last time was 3 years ago, and that relationship lasted 6 months. I brought you to meet her because you're not a bet or a dare or a performance. You're—" He stopped, struggling for words. "You're the first real thing I've felt in years." Ariel wanted to believe him. She could see the sincerity in his face, hear it in his voice. But belief wasn't enough. Not anymore. "Your mum is lovely," she said quietly. "But your friends still think I'm a joke, and you're not correcting them loud enough. I'll fix it." "How? By telling them to stop in private, by asking them nicely?" She shook her head. "Liam, I've been here before. Different men, same story. They say I'm special. They say it's real. But when it comes time to stand up in front of people, their friends, their family, their social circles, I become invisible. I become the secret. You're not a secret. Your friends think I am. They think you're trying to prove you can pull me." Their words, not mine. She stood up, wrapping her arms around herself. "I told you from the beginning what I needed. I need to be chosen. Openly, proudly, not quietly." Liam stood too, and she could see the desperation in his face. The wanting to fix it, but some things couldn't be fixed with words. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "I want to see who you are when it's hard. When choosing me means being uncomfortable. When it means your friends might laugh or judge or walk away." She met his eyes. "I don't want you to fix it for a day. I want to see if this is real. It is real. Then show me." She walked away before he could respond, before she could see his face crumble, before she could change her mind and tell him it was okay, that she'd be patient, that she'd wait for him to figure it out. But she'd waited before, 3 times before, and it had never been enough. This time she needed to see it, not just hear it, see it. That night Liam sat in his apartment, staring at the screenshot Ariel had shown him. He'd forwarded it to himself, needing to see it again, needing to understand how his friends could be so careless, so cruel, without even knowing it. He pulled up Trent's contact and called. "Carter, what's up, man? We need to talk about that group chat about Ariel." There was a pause. Then Trent laughed. "Oh, come on, we were just messing around. You know how we are. Someone sent her a screenshot. She thinks I'm dating her as a bet." "Well, are you?" Trent's voice was light, teasing. "No." Liam's voice was hard. "I'm serious about her, and you making jokes in a group chat is making her think otherwise." "Dude, relax. It's not that deep. It is to her, it is to me." Another pause, longer this time. "Look, man, I didn't mean anything by it. We were just surprised you went from European types to—" "Don't finish that sentence," Liam interrupted. "Just don't. What do you want me to do, apologize? I want you to stop making her a punchline. I want you to understand that what you say matters, that words have weight." Trent sighed, annoyed now. "Fine, whatever. I'll lay off." But it didn't feel like enough. Liam hung up knowing that private conversations weren't going to fix this. Trent didn't get it. None of them did. They'd apologize to keep the peace, but they wouldn't understand why their words hurt. He called his mother. "Sweetheart," Paige answered. "I was just thinking about you. How's Ariel?" "I'm losing her." The words came out raw. He told her everything. The screenshot, the conversation at the park, Ariel's walls going back up. When he finished, his mother was quiet for a long moment. "Do you remember what I told you last week?" she asked finally. "Say something better in front of people who matter." "Exactly. You said something foolish in public. You need to correct it in public, not to your friends in private, not to Ariel in a park where no one can hear. In public, where it counts. How? You'll know when the moment comes. But Liam? Her voice softened. Make sure it's not just for her. Make sure it's also for you. Because if you're not ready to be uncomfortable, to lose friends who don't respect the woman you love, then maybe you're not ready for her. The woman you love. His mother had said it so casually, but the words hit like a punch. Did he love Ariel? After 2 weeks? After a handful of conversations? He thought about her smile in the ballroom, the way she'd talked with his mother, her honesty in the cafe, the way she protected her heart because she'd learned she had to, the way she asked for what she needed instead of just hoping. Yeah, he was falling in love with her, maybe had been since the moment she walked onto that rooftop, and she was right. Private apologies weren't enough. Trent's half-hearted promise to lay off wasn't enough. He needed to show her, publicly, in front of the people who'd made the joke in the first place. He just needed to figure out how. 2 days passed. Wednesday afternoon, Ariel was at a small art gallery downtown coordinating a client's opening event. It was smaller than the rooftop party, more intimate. About 50 guests, local artists, wine and cheese instead of champagne and canapes. Nadia was helping her arrange the welcome table when her phone buzzed. I know you're working tonight, I'm coming. Not to bother you, just to be there. Liam Ariel stared at the message. She hadn't heard from him since the park. She'd half expected him to give up, to decide she was too much work, too complicated. Most men did. What is it? Nadia asked. Liam, he's coming tonight, to the gallery. Apparently. Nadia studied her face. How do you feel about that? Ariel didn't know. Nervous, hopeful, scared, all of it at once. I guess we'll see, she said. The event started at 6. By 6:15, guests were arriving steadily, admiring the artwork, collecting wine glasses. Ariel moved through the space in work mode, checking that everything ran smoothly. She didn't let herself watch the door, didn't let herself wait for him. But at 6:30, she felt it. That shift in the air that said he was there. She turned, and there he was. Liam standing near the entrance, dressed in dark jeans and a grey button-down, not trying to impress, just himself. Their eyes met across the room. He gave her a small smile, and she felt her heart do that stupid flutter thing again. He walked over slowly, giving her space. Hi. Hi. She glanced around. If you're here to talk, I'm working. I know. I'm just here. As long as you don't cause drama. He smiled slightly, throwing her own words back at her. Can I stay? She nodded. He moved to the side, getting out of the way of the flow of guests, and for the next 30 minutes, he just stayed, watching her work, not hovering, not demanding attention, just being there. Then she heard it, that familiar laugh, that voice that made her stomach tighten. Trent. She looked up and saw him walking in with 2 other guys. Of course, the gallery owner was part of their social circle. Of course they'd be here. Ariel's professional mask slipped for just a second before she caught it. She glanced at Liam and saw him notice Trent too, saw his jaw tighten, saw him take a breath. This was it, the moment she'd been waiting for, the test. Trent spotted Liam and immediately headed over, grinning that careless grin. Carter, didn't know you'd be here. His eyes slid to Ariel, then back to Liam. Supporting the arts tonight. Liam stepped closer to Ariel, deliberately, a choice made visible. I'm here with Ariel, he said clearly. The woman I'm seeing. The words were simple, calm, but they landed like stones in water, ripples spreading out. Trent's grin faltered. Oh, right. The event planner, Liam finished firmly. Her name is Ariel Brooks. She's incredible at what she does. He wasn't loud, wasn't making a scene, but he also wasn't joking or laughing it off or shrinking away. He was standing there beside her, claiming her in front of the people who'd made her a punchline. Derek and Marcus had joined them now, sensing something was happening. So it's serious? Trent asked, and there was something testing in his voice, like he was waiting for Liam to laugh and say he was kidding. Liam didn't hesitate. Yeah, it is. The words hung in the air, a line drawn, a choice made public. Ariel felt something crack open in her chest, not breaking, blooming, like something frozen was finally thawing. Trent looked between them, his expression shifting. Well, cool, man. Good for you. But it didn't sound like he meant it. It sounded like he'd just realized the joke was over. The guys moved away to look at artwork, their voices quieter now. Liam turned to Ariel. Can we talk? He asked. Just for a minute? She nodded. Led him to a back hallway where the staff stored supplies and coats, away from the guests and the noise. As soon as they were alone, Liam spoke. That's what you needed to see. right? Not hiding, not laughing it off. Yes, Ariel said softly. I should have done it sooner, at the rooftop, at that restaurant when Trent made that comment. I should have said something then instead of waiting until you showed me that screenshot. He stepped closer. I was wrong. I was trying to impress people who don't matter, and in the process I almost lost the one person who does. Ariel felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them back. I've had men like you before, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Men who liked me but not enough to be uncomfortable, not enough to choose me when it was hard. I know. You told me. Liam's voice was gentle. And I can't promise I'll never mess up, but I can promise I'll try. I can promise that from now on, when it matters, I'll stand where it's uncomfortable. I'll choose you even when it's hard. Why? The question slipped out. Why me? Why now? He smiled, sad and sweet and real. Because when I'm trying to impress my friends, I feel like I'm performing, like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not. But when I'm with you, I just, you make me want to be real instead of impressive. And that's... He stopped, his voice catching. That's the most important thing anyone's ever made me feel. A tear slipped down Ariel's cheek, then another. Liam reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away, and brushed them away with his thumb. I'm scared, she admitted. I know. I've been almost chosen before. I can't do it again. You're not almost anything. His voice was fierce now. You're fully chosen, completely chosen. By me, in front of anyone who matters. She looked up at him. This man who'd somehow broken through walls she'd spent years building. This man who was learning to be brave for her. Don't make me defend my place with you again, she said, echoing words she'd said in the park. Don't make me wonder if I'm real or just convenient. Never, Liam promised. I won't make you defend your place. I'll defend it myself. And then, because words weren't enough anymore, he leaned down and kissed her. It was soft, gentle, full of promise and apology and hope. Ariel kissed him back, letting herself believe, letting herself hope that maybe this time would be different. When they broke apart, they were both smiling. I should get back to work, Ariel said. I know, but he didn't let go of her hand. Can I stay for the rest of the night? Yeah, she said. You can stay. They walked back to the main gallery together, side by side, not hiding. They returned to the gallery floor, and Ariel felt different, lighter, like something heavy she'd been carrying had finally been set down. Nadia spotted them immediately, her eyes going wide. She caught Ariel's eye and mouthed, Are you okay? Ariel nodded, and Nadia's face broke into a cautious smile. The evening continued. Ariel moved through her duties, greeting guests, coordinating with the catering staff, making sure the artist was comfortable and happy. And through it all, Liam stayed. Not hovering, not demanding attention, just present. When she checked the wine supply, he was there. When she adjusted a spotlight on a painting, he held the ladder steady. Small things, quiet support. At one point, she turned and found him talking to an older couple, gesturing at one of the paintings. She couldn't hear what he was saying, but the couple was nodding, interested. When they walked away, Liam caught her watching and smiled. Making friends? She asked, walking over. They asked about the artist's use of light. I might have geeked out about natural versus artificial lighting in architecture. He looked almost embarrassed. Sorry, professional hazard. Don't apologize. It's nice seeing you talk about something you love. His expression softened. I could say the same about you. You're good at this, Ariel. Really good. The way you make everyone feel welcome. The way you've set everything up. It's special. The compliment settled warm in her chest. Not because it was flattery, but because it was true. Because he saw her, really saw what she did and valued it. Across the room, Trent and his friends were leaving. Trent glanced over once, his expression unreadable, then walked out without another word. The door closed behind them, and Ariel felt something release in her shoulders. You okay? Liam asked quietly. Yeah, I think I am. A figure appeared beside them, elegant, familiar. Ariel blinked in surprise. Mrs. Carter. Paige smiled, warm and genuine. Please, Ariel. I told you to call me Paige. She turned to Liam. You didn't tell me you'd be here tonight. I didn't know if I should, Liam admitted, but I needed to see her. Paige's eyes moved between them, taking in their proximity, their linked hands. I'm glad you came, both of you. She turned to Ariel. The gallery owner is an old friend. She mentioned you were coordinating tonight's event. I had to come see your work. You came to see me work? Ariel felt touched and slightly overwhelmed. Of course. Liam's told me so much about what you do. I wanted to see it for myself. Paige gestured around the gallery. And it's beautiful. You have a real gift. Thank you, Ariel said, her voice catching slightly. Paige squeezed her arm gently. I'll let you get back to it, but Liam? She looked at her son. Don't mess this up. I'm trying not to, he said, and there was so much honesty in his voice that Paige smiled. Good. She moved away to admire the artwork, and Ariel watched her go, something warm blooming in her chest. Your mom came to see me work, she said, still processing it. She wanted to support you. She doesn't do that for just anyone. Ariel looked up at him. This is real, isn't it? Your mom being here, you standing up to your friends, this is really happening. It's really happening, Liam confirmed. And I know it's only been 2 weeks. I know that's fast. But Ariel, He stopped, searching for words. I've never felt this sure about anything. She wanted to say it back, wanted to tell him that she felt it too, that certainty that scared her but also thrilled her. But the words stuck in her throat, years of disappointment holding them back. Instead, she squeezed his hand. Stay with me tonight, just until the event ends. I'm not going anywhere. And he didn't. As the evening wound down, as guests started trickling out, as Nadia began the cleanup process, Liam stayed. He helped fold tablecloths. He carried boxes to Ariel's car. He made Nadia laugh with a terrible joke about abstract art. When the gallery was finally empty and locked up, the three of them stood on the sidewalk in the cool night air. I'm heading home, Nadia announced, looking between Ariel and Liam with barely concealed happiness. You two have a good night. Thank you, Nadia, Liam said, for the coffee this morning and for looking out for Ariel. Nadia softened. Take care of her, okay? She deserves someone who will. I know she does. Nadia left, and then it was just the two of them under the streetlights, the city humming around them. Can I walk you to your car? Liam asked. It's right here. Ariel gestured to the spot 3 feet away. They both laughed. Then can I just stand here with you for a minute? Yeah, you can do that. They stood close, not quite touching, just being. After a moment, Liam spoke. Thank you for giving me another chance. After the park, after everything, I wouldn't have blamed you if you'd walked away completely. I almost did, Ariel admitted. I was scared. I am scared. Of what? Of believing this is real and then finding out it's not. Of letting myself fall and having no one catch me. She looked up at him. I've fallen before, Liam. It hurt every time. I can't promise I won't hurt you. I'll probably mess up again because I'm human and I'm learning. He took her hand. But I can promise I won't make you feel like almost. I won't make you wonder if you matter. You do matter. To me. The words wrapped around her heart, warm and steady. I want to believe you, she whispered. Then believe me. Just a little bit. And I'll prove it every day until you believe me completely. She looked at him. This man who'd said something stupid and then spent 2 weeks trying to prove he was more than his worst moment. This man who'd stood up to his friends for her, who'd brought his mother to her event, who stayed when things got hard instead of running. Okay, she said. I'll try. His smile was worth everything. He leaned down and kissed her forehead, gentle and reverent. Can I see you this weekend? What did you have in mind? Nothing fancy. Maybe just brunch? With my mom again? She really did like you. Ariel laughed. You're really committed to the family meals, huh? I want you to know them. I want them to know you. He stopped, looking almost shy. I want this to be real in every way. Sunday, Ariel said. Brunch on Sunday. It's a date. They stood there a moment longer, neither wanting to leave. Finally, Ariel unlocked her car. Good night, Liam. Good night, Ariel. She drove home with music playing and a smile she couldn't quite control. When she got to her apartment, she found a text from Nadia waiting. He's a keeper. Don't let fear push him away. And below that, another text from Liam. Thank you for tonight, for letting me stay, for giving me a chance to prove this is real. Sleep well. Ariel fell asleep that night, feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. The next morning, Thursday, Ariel woke up to sunlight streaming through her windows and a text from Liam that made her smile. Good morning. I know you're probably working, but I couldn't stop thinking about you. Have a good day. She replied, Good morning. You too. Simple words. Easy words. But they felt significant somehow, like the start of something sustainable, something that could last. Nadia arrived at the office around 10, carrying coffee and pastries. Okay, she said, setting everything down. Tell me what happened after I left. So Ariel did. She told her about standing on the sidewalk, about Liam's promises, about agreeing to brunch on Sunday. He's serious about you, Nadia said when she finished. Like really serious. I think he is. And how do you feel about that? Ariel considered the question. Scared. Happy. Both. That's normal. You've been hurt before. But Ari, Nadia's voice was gentle. At some point you have to let yourself trust again. You have to risk the hurt to get the happiness. I know. Do you? Nadia challenged. Because I can see you already building walls again, planning your exit strategy, preparing for it to go wrong. Ariel opened her mouth to argue, then closed it, because Nadia was right. Even now, even after last night, part of her was still waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm trying, she said quietly. I know you are. And he's trying too. That's what matters. Nadia squeezed her hand. Give it time, give him time, give yourself time. The rest of the day passed in a blur of work, phone calls with clients, vendor emails, updating their social media with photos from last night's event. Normal, busy, grounding work, but underneath it all Ariel felt different, lighter, like she'd been holding her breath for weeks and could finally exhale. Friday passed the same way. Work, texts from Liam, small moments of connection that built on each other. By Saturday afternoon, Ariel found herself actually looking forward to Sunday. Not just nervous about it, actually excited. She called her mother that evening, something she did every Saturday. Hey, baby, her mom answered, her Georgia accent warm and familiar. How's my city girl? Good, really good actually. Well, that's a nice change. You've been sounding stressed lately. Ariel settled onto her couch. I met someone. There was a pause, then, tell me everything. So she did. Not all of it. She left out the rooftop comment and the screenshot, not wanting to worry her mother. But she told her about Liam, about his mom, about how he made her feel seen. He sounds nice, her mother said carefully. But, no buts. I'm just scared. Of course you are. You've been hurt before. But honey, you can't let past pain rob you of future joy. Sometimes you just have to jump and trust you'll land somewhere soft. What if I don't? Then you get back up and try again. That's all any of us can do. Her mother's voice softened. But this one sounds different, like he's actually trying. Don't push him away because you're afraid. After they hung up, Ariel sat in the quiet of her apartment, letting the words settle over her. Don't push him away because you're afraid. She picked up her phone and texted Liam. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. His response came quickly. Me too, my mum's making something special. Should I be nervous? Only if you don't like being spoiled. She smiled at the screen. I think I can handle it. Good. See you at 11. Sunday morning arrived bright and clear. Ariel dressed carefully, a soft yellow dress that made her feel pretty without trying too hard. She left her hair down in loose curls and kept her makeup simple. When she pulled up to Paige's townhouse, both Liam and his mother were on the front steps talking and laughing. They looked up as she approached, and Liam's face lit up. You look beautiful, he said, coming down to meet her. Thank you. He kissed her cheek, and it felt natural, easy, like they'd been doing this for months instead of weeks. Inside, the house smelled amazing, cinnamon and vanilla and something savory. Paige had outdone herself. The table was set with nice dishes, fresh flowers in the center, mimosas already poured. Ariel, Paige hugged her warmly. I'm so glad you came back. Thank you for having me again. Always. Come sit. Everything's ready. They settled around the table. Quiche, fresh fruit, pastries, and conversation that flowed as easily as the mimosas. Paige asked about Ariel's business, genuinely interested in how she marketed herself, where she found clients, what her dream projects would be. I'd love to do a big wedding someday, Ariel said. Like 200 people, multiple events over a weekend, the whole thing. But those take years to build up to. You'll get there, Paige said confidently. You have the talent and the drive. The rest is just time. Liam watched them talk, his expression soft and happy. Ariel caught him looking and smiled. After brunch, Paige insisted they stay for coffee in the garden. It was a small space but beautifully kept. Climbing roses, a little fountain, chairs arranged in the sun. They talked about nothing important. Travel dreams, favorite books, childhood memories. The kind of conversations that built foundations. When Ariel finally said she should go, she had work to prep for Monday, Paige walked them to the door. This was wonderful, Ariel said. Thank you again. Paige took her hands, her expression serious. Thank you for not giving up on him. I know he made a poor first impression, but he's a good man, he's learning, and you're good for him. The words squeezed Ariel's heart. He's good for me too. Paige hugged her tightly, then stepped back. Liam, walk her to her car. On the sidewalk, Liam took Ariel's hand. That went well. Your mom is amazing. You're lucky to have her. I know. He turned to face her. Ariel, I know we're taking this slow, but I need you to know. This isn't casual for me. You're not casual for me. You're not casual for me either, she admitted. Good, he smiled, because I'm falling for you, hard, and I wanted you to know. Her breath caught. The words she'd been too scared to say, he'd just offered freely. I'm falling too, she whispered. He kissed her then, right there on the sunny sidewalk in front of his mother's house. Soft and sweet and full of promise. When they pulled apart, they were both smiling. See you this week, he asked. Definitely. She drove home with her heart full, thinking about how much had changed in 2 weeks, how she'd gone from walls and fear to this, to Sunday brunches and falling and hope. That afternoon, she and Nadia met for their usual Sunday tea. You're glowing, Nadia said immediately. I had brunch with Liam and his mum. And it was perfect. He told me he's falling for me. Nadia squealed. What did you say? That I'm falling too. Oh my God, Ari, this is happening. This is really happening. I think it is. They talked for hours about everything and nothing, about Liam, about work, about the future that suddenly felt bright and possible. When Ariel finally got home that evening, she found another text from Liam. Thank you for today, for being patient with me, for giving me chances. I won't waste them, she replied. Thank you for proving you're worth the chances. And then, because she felt brave, I'm really happy. With you. Me too. With you. The weeks that followed settled into a rhythm. Work during the week, texts and calls at night, dates on the weekends. Sometimes they went out. Dinner, movies, walks through the city. Sometimes they stayed in, cooking together at his apartment, watching old films at hers. But the best times were the quiet moments. Morning coffee before work, late-night talks about dreams and fears. The way he kissed her forehead when he said goodnight. The way she leaned into him without thinking. One Saturday afternoon, 3 weeks after the gallery event, Liam showed up at her apartment with a bag of Chinese food and a nervous smile. I have something to show you, he said after they'd eaten. He pulled out his laptop and opened a folder of images. Architectural drawings, beautiful, detailed sketches of a community space, open and bright and welcoming. What is this? Ariel asked. A project I've been working on, for myself, not my dad's firm. He looked almost shy. You asked me once why I don't do something else if I'm unhappy. I couldn't stop thinking about that, so I started designing spaces I actually care about. Community centers, libraries, places for people who don't usually get beautiful architecture. Ariel looked through the drawings, her heart swelling. Liam, these are incredible. You think so? I know so. This is your vision, your voice. You should do this. He smiled. I'm going to. I'm leaving my dad's firm, starting my own practice. Really, it's scary, it might not work, but I can't keep pretending anymore. You taught me that. He took her hand. You taught me that being real is more important than being impressive. She kissed him then, pouring everything she felt into it. Pride and joy and love. Yes, love, even though they hadn't said the word yet. When they broke apart, they were both smiling. I'm proud of you, she said. I'm proud of us. Later that evening, as they sat on her couch watching the sun set through her window, Liam spoke quietly. Remember the rooftop, when I said that stupid thing? Hard to forget. I've been thinking about it, about why I said it. He turned to face her. I said it because I was afraid of being myself, afraid that myself wasn't enough. So I performed. I pretended to be someone who had it all figured out. And now I know that being myself is the only way to be enough. For you, for me, for anyone who matters. He touched her face gently. You made me want to be real, Ariel, not perfect, just real. You are real, she said softly, and you're more than enough. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, just being together. Then Ariel's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Hey, it's Trent, I know this is random, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. For the group chat, for the jokes. I was a jerk. You seem really good for Liam, congratulations. Ariel showed Liam the text. He read it and shook his head, smiling slightly. Took him long enough. Is he still your friend? I don't know. Maybe. But differently now. With boundaries. He looked at her. Some friendships are for a season, and my season of trying to impress people is over. What season are you in now? He kissed her softly. The one where I choose what's real. Every time. A few weeks later, on a quiet Saturday morning, Liam and Ariel sat in his apartment. Fall had arrived fully now. Crisp air, golden light, the smell of coffee and possibility. Ariel was helping him look through color swatches for his new office space. Nothing major, nothing heavy, just small decisions made together. His phone buzzed. A text from Trent asking if he wanted to meet up later. Liam typed a quick response. Can't tonight. Spending the day with Ariel. He set the phone down without waiting for a reply. Ariel had been watching. You could go if you want. I don't want. He pulled her closer. I want to be right here. She smiled. You've changed. We both have. It was true. Ariel had let her walls down, piece by piece, had learned to trust again, to believe that being chosen was possible. Liam had stopped performing and started being, had chosen uncomfortable honesty over easy approval. For the record, Liam said, his voice soft, I don't only date white European women. Ariel raised an eyebrow, recognizing the echo of his original comment. Oh? He smiled. I date the woman I can't stop thinking about, the woman who makes me want to be better, the woman who saw through all my nonsense and gave me a chance anyway. That's very specific. I know what I want. She laughed, the sound bright and free. Then she kissed him, soft and sweet and certain. Outside, the city moved on, cars and people, and life continuing in its endless rhythm. But inside Liam's apartment, time felt slower, sweeter, like something precious that had finally been found. I love you, Liam said quietly, the first time he'd said the words. Ariel's heart swelled. I love you too. They sat there in the golden morning light, two people who'd almost missed each other, two people who'd learned that real love didn't come from performing or pretending. It came from showing up honestly, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. And in that moment, surrounded by paint samples and coffee cups and the quiet comfort of being together, Ariel finally believed it. She was chosen, fully, proudly, permanently, not almost, actually, and that made all the difference. The end.